أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. A woman, she used to bake chapati, roti or naan for a family, and she would make an extra chapati for a guest. She would make the food, the chapati and roti every night, and she would leave an extra chapati on the windowsill for someone to take, for a poor person to take. A passerby, every night he would take the roti and chapati to eat. And this passerby was a poor hunchback. Hunchbacks are people who cannot walk properly. And every night he would do this. Every night she would cook and she would leave something on the windowsill and he would come and take the food. But the hunchback would not say anything except, every evil that you do remains with you. Every evil remains with you, and every good that you do comes back to you. This is the only thing that he would say. And she became quite upset after a few days, few weeks, even months. He doesn't do any shukr, he doesn't say thank you to me. He takes my food and he just says, any evil that you do remains with you, and any good that you do comes back to you. And after a while, after a few weeks, he said, look, I'm going to get this person. So she cooked food and she poisoned the chapati. She poisoned the chapati and she left it on the windowsill. Before the hunchback came to take the food, she remembered. She remembered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, what am I doing? This is a human being and I'm becoming very malicious and so on and so forth. So she took it back and she placed another pure chapati on the windowsill. And every morning or every evening, every day, she would make dua that her child who went away to seek some provisions, he would come back to her safely. Every week, every month, she would make dua. For a number of months or perhaps years, he was away from home. And that particular time, that day, she heard a knock on the door. And lo and behold, she opened the door and her son, who was away for a few years, came back to her. And he looked very meek and weak, very feeble. He lost weight. And obviously they were happy. And the son told her that, I would have been dead today if it wasn't for someone. I was lying on the ground and I was about to die. Someone came and gave me his food. And this person was a hunchback. This person who gave me the food was a hunchback. So she remembered, she nearly collapsed and said, Subhanallah, if I had left that poisonous chapati, then he would have taken it and the hunchback would have given it to my son. The moral of the story is, any good that we do in this dunya, even if people do not recognize it, appreciate it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will recognize and appreciate it. Sometimes as human beings, even our children, when they do something good, we forget. We don't reward them. When we reward them, we say, Jazakallah khair, we reward them something physical, commodity, they become motivated, they become more encouraged to do their righteous works. But sometimes, not sometimes, but a lot of the times, when people do righteous deeds or good deeds, or when people do good things to us, we tend to forget. But we should not say, why hasn't that person says thank you to me? Right? Why hasn't that person returned that favor upon me? The only reason we are doing this good is because it's for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever we do, even if people do not recognize it, appreciate our work, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recognizes it. قُلِ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَ اللَّهُ أَعْمَالَكُمْ. Allah says in the Quran, work, do the righteous deeds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will see your righteous actions. So whatever we do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to practice what we preach. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability for the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.